Hi, it's Ivy. It feels weird to narrate my YouTube video in English, but I thought it was necessary so I can introduce the Korean drop zone, Sky Adventure, to those of you that haven't been there yet. I spent every weekend at this drop zone from August to September and deeply fell in love. This place is absolutely amazing. The people are so nice. The DZ is beautiful. It has great views. It's just so much better than what I had expected it to be. Honestly, my expectations were really low. But there I was, totally in love with the drop zone and the people I had met. So I just wanted to let you guys know that this DZ exists. In case you're ever visiting Korea or getting stationed out there, Sky Adventure is the only drop zone to go to, so definitely check it out if you have a chance. Well, hope you guys enjoy the video, and let's send it. To briefly introduce the DZ, it is registered under the USPA, so it's searchable on the USPA website. If you look at the map here, the DZ is located in a city called Chungju, which is about a 2-hour drive down south from Seoul, the capital city. It's not that close to major cities, but it is a tandem factory. You'll see a lot of tandem passengers showing up every weekend, as well as the students and fun jumpers. There's a separate association for jumpers in Korea called KPA, which obviously stands for Korea Parachute Association. It's basically a copycat of the USPA. However, there are some rules that only apply to jumpers in Korea, so it is mandatory for you to join and pay for the membership fee if you plan to jump here. Moreover, KPA is also under the FAA, so any skydiver who got their license through KPA can still travel around the world and jump at other FAA-approved DZs. That makes me a dual member of both the USPA and KPA. On a side note though, it would have been great if the Korean government allowed dual citizenships. I was Korean until this summer, but I had to renounce my Korean citizenship because the government wouldn't allow me to keep both. It is great to be an American, however, it would have been even better if I could have kept my Korean status. To get back on track, one of the rules that only applies to jumpers in Korea is that all jumpers must get water training to get their A license. That is because the LZ is right next to the river, and it sounds like there have been some tragic accidents at other locations, which were also near the river before Sky Adventure was built and settled in. So in order to redeem from those accidents, KPA's new rule was that all students must get their water training to get the A license. With or without water training, you are still required to wear a flotation device if you're jumping slick. Without the device, you are not allowed in the plane. The device looks like this. You can either wear it like a belt or tie it around the leg strap, however you want to do it. This can be purchased at the main office if you do plan to jump here. As a fun jumper, your first jump has to be a hop and pop. No excuse. Doesn't matter how much experience you have to do a hop and pop. And that's for safety reasons, of course. The DZ is really strict when it comes to safety because skydiving is still considered to be a very, very dangerous sport in Korea. I saw numerous comments on my YouTube videos about how I will die soon and how dangerous this sport is and why I should stop doing it. I don't really care what they say. However, if I lived here, it will be hard not to care knowing that we skydivers are just the minorities and that we can all come to a halt if one small thing goes wrong. With all these safety rules, KPA and the DZ are basically showing that we are listening to the public's concerns by doing everything we can to keep us safe. So shut the f*** up and let us have fun. Just kidding. Not really. Because we really just want to keep having fun, right? Jumping in Korea is horribly expensive. Way more than what it costs to jump in the States. It is $85 per ticket, and you get 3 block options. A lot of my close friends that jump here are considered to be the investors of the DZ. As far as I know, they invested tons of money to build this DZ, to buy the caravan, and to let it flourish the way it's doing right now. In return, their jump tickets are way cheaper than what it costs to jump at Lodi. For these investors, the DZO is really generous about how they make use of the land owned by the DZ. So my friends built their own tiny home at the corner of the parking lot, some people brought and parked their trailers, and some built this orange container home for all fun jumpers and their families to hang out and sleep over. I don't have a photo of the interior, but the inside literally looks like a living room with a kitchen full of food and drinks. And all of these people don't pay rent. Like I said, they're already huge contributors to the DZ, so the DZO doesn't ask too much from them. As for any normal fun jumpers like myself, we will either pay $85 per ticket or get one of the block options. It's really not that bad if you think about it because the DZ only opens during the weekends. So in order to keep the business going for the sake of all skydivers, it does make sense to cost that much. I honestly had no issues because the DZ feeds all fun jumpers and staff members for free. The mother-in-law of the DZO is an amazing cook and she cooks legit Korean food. TMI, I was suffering from a really bad hangover one day and I survived from eating the hangover soup that she made that day. Oh my god. I am Korean and I need hot soup to recover from hangovers. She not only saved me, but a lot of others that day. She's an angel. As for wingsuiting, it is a great thing that they even have wingsuiters in such a tiny drop zone. There are a little over 10 people that got trained to wingsuit, and among those 10 plus people, all of my close friends in this photo wingsuit regularly every weekend. There is also a very unusual rule for all wingsuiters, and that is that all wingsuiters must have a 7-cell canopy. Doesn't matter if it's a wingsuit specific canopy or not, but it has to be a 7-cell. If you show up with a 9-cell or a cross-braced in a wingsuit, which is a very rare case unless you're Andy Farrington jumping as Valkyrie in a freak, you will not be allowed to wingsuit here. Additionally, you are not leaving the plane if you see thick layers of cloud below you on your way up to the altitude. Not a big issue for slick jumpers, but if you're wingsuiting, that's a no-no. You are riding the plane down. Some thin layers are fine as long as you can navigate, but the DZ is basically trying their best to not cause any issues around the neighborhood and to keep everyone safe. Like I said earlier, skydiving itself is considered to be really dangerous and wingsuiting is considered to be deadly, so all safety precautions needed to be made in all dimensions. Oh, by the way, we finally have a female wingsuiter in Korea. Woohoo! I would love to see more Korean females starting to wingsuit in the near future, and maybe we'll be able to hold a Chicks Flock event here. Fingers crossed. Fun facts. The plane runs the AC to the max on the way up to the altitude. It was freezing cold at the way back of the plane on a 90+ degree weather, so I had to zip myself up earlier than usual. That never happens in California. The building that they're using as the main office, cafeteria, and classrooms used to be an elementary school. They're actually using the classrooms for the FJC ground training, and I found that pretty cute. As opposed to the very expensive jump tickets, the tunnel price is not that bad. It is a little over $500 per hour for all returning flyers. My friends here fly on the tunnel quite often, and they let me join their free fly hook jam the other day. I noticed that the tunnel is very new and wide and lit up. There's also a bunkhouse and a cafeteria for all flyers in the same building. Newly licensed skydivers don't owe a case of beer. They owe dinner and drinks to the whole DZ. Obviously, jumpers in Korea are very well off. This was pretty shocking to me, but never say no to free food and drinks. The DZ shuts down twice a day for 2 hours in the morning and an hour in the afternoon due to Air Force NOTAM and the pre-scheduled civil airliners. During this time, I hang out at my friend's tiny home and just chillax or play games. Sometimes we start drinking early in the afternoon and get done with jumping. One of the cable TV shows have shown interest in us wingsuiters while I was still there, so I got to be a part of the very short interview. Yay. Well, that's a wrap. Hope you guys also have the chance to visit this drop zone and get stoked just as I was. There are some base jump exit points near the DZ if you base jump as well, so definitely check that out. It would be great if we can all come together one day, but you'll still have a lot of fun here with or without me. But one day for sure. Now that I'm back, I should probably work on getting my AFFI eval jumps done, but before that, I hope to see y'all at Chicks Rock this weekend. Bye!